Hello everyone, Cliff here. I wanted to share with you my editing process. I've seen a lot of posts come in lately about people talking about editing and how it's taken a long time. So I just wanted to walk you through how it is that I edit my podcast from just after the recording happens to exporting it out. And that whole process takes about 4 minutes for me to do. What I wanted to do is I wanted to show you one of my previous podcast episodes. You can see it here. Every time that you see one of these little black lines, that is a filler word, like like. So you can see this interview here has a ton of them. And this right here took me probably closer to 5 hours. On average, I was spending 4 hours doing it, but this right here took me about 5 hours to do. So I'm going to show you a tool that I use, and I have to give a hat tip to James Newcomb. He was the one that told me I should use this tool, because I really do believe that if you just get rid of the ums and likes, inside of an interview, the quality of it just goes through the roof. So let me show you. This is the software tool that I use to edit my podcast episodes. It's called Descript. The first thing you notice is that the sine waves are down here, but it's actually transcribed. So the first thing you do when you pull your audio into Descript is you transcribe it. And then when you edit your podcast episode, you're editing the words up here, not making cuts down here. So this allows you to edit your podcast like you're editing a Word document. That's about the best way that I can describe it. So to kind of walk you through, like if I was going to be editing for this right here is the starting point. Welcome everyone to the Call of Leadership podcast. So what I will do then is I will just come in here just like in a Word document, and I will highlight all this garbage at the beginning because it's just her and I talking back and forth. Delete. That's now gone. Now I hit the play button. Welcome everyone to the Call of Leadership podcast. Today I am joined by Abby Engel from Pet Angel Adoption. Abby, how are you?
Hello, hi, I'm good. How are you?
So you can see that the transcription is not perfect, but that's okay because I can always go back and tweak it. What I'm more concerned with is making sure that I get rid of two things, filler words and gaps. If I can get rid of those two things, this podcast episode will actually come out sounding really, really awesome. So let's just listen to this paragraph right here real quick.
We lived in town at the time, and my grandmother had moved into the house behind us so we could help take care of her.
Okay.
And when she passed away, we had some feral cats outside, and it was the week she passed away. Two of the feral cats gave birth.
All right, so you can see here, she says 3 times in this paragraph. She says here. She says again. She says here. And I'm guilty of this as well. I'm not pointing the fingers and saying she's a horrible speaker, but you can just see that there is all of these filler words here. Now, the cool thing is that I could come in here and I could, if I wanted to, of course, is I could just highlight one of these. So let's go back down to this paragraph, and I could just literally highlight the word and then hit delete.
Accidentally started Pet Angel. We lived in town at the time, and my grandmother had moved into the house behind us so we could help take care of her.
Okay.
And when she passed away, we had some feral.
Okay, so let's get rid of this So this is much easier than trying to cut the
And
track.
when she passed away, we had some feral cats outside, and it was the week she passed.
Okay, but again, this doesn't scale. So if I right click on this word, you'll see remove filler words here. And when I click on that, it lets me know that there's 159 more filler words in this document. And when I click on apply to all those filler words have now evaporated. So that right there alone has made this podcast sound much, much better. The next thing that I do is I come in here and I shorten word gaps. Sometimes I will ask a question, or I'm thinking about a question and it takes me a couple seconds to think of one. So this right here, shorten word gaps, I have it come in here and detect if it's longer than half a second. And if it is, make it 4/10 of a second. So I hit apply to all. Done. Shortened 121 word gaps. Now I am going to drag my bumper in here. So I thought I had it all set. I do not. My bumper. This is my intro, and this is my outro. So I will just drag those into the document. And then I come over here to my media library where I have the call of intro fade. Okay. So then what I can do here, obviously this is my intro to the podcast, and then this is where I start talking. So I can literally grab these words and just slide them over here to where the sound kind of dies down. And then I rinse and repeat at the very end, at the very bottom of the podcast. So I grab my outro. And then I can slide this in because you can see where I start talking in the outro. And then here's the end of the podcast. Okay. And for all intents and purposes, it's done. I've now edited the whole thing. Of course, I could come in here and tweak the document, for instance. So the spelling of her last name, it kind of goofed. This isn't her name. So if I wanted to come back over here and do a text search for, so it gives me 3 instances. So I can just find it right here and then switch to editing the text and then come back down here, switch to editing the text. Okay. And then there's one more spot. So you can see I'm actually searching the documents for the specific words. Okay. And there is that. And I could also come in here too, depending on how anal I wanted to get, and edit the rest of the document for all intents and purposes. So this transcription is ready to go. So then all I need to do at this point is click on share, click on export, click on audio, and it's taking care of all of the normalization for me and everything else. It's in an MP3 format. And then I just click on export from here and it'll export out the audio. So anyways, 4 minutes from beginning to end to get my episode out there. Obviously, the higher quality that I use at recording, I can. There is a way that you can record from Zoom directly into the Descript application. I wasn't able to get it to work because trying to use Zoom plus this to transcribe and record at the same time, plus using some kind of a recorder software on my Mac was just too much. Too many drivers were colliding. I just wasn't able to do that. So anyways, I hope you guys found this of value. I wanted to share this with you, and I hope you're all doing well. Take care.